to give us what we need. Hey!
I listen to KBLA and I love the commercials. I know what the commercials mean. I also, if I'm looking and trying to figure something out, I need something to talk to me that might hit me. And it happens on TV because, you know, every time they show a sporting event, they got the pharmaceutical companies back to back telling people how to fix the sickness on the same stuff that they sell them. So we get it.
Yep, we get it too, Chuck D. And that's why at KBLA Talk 1580, we don't black down.
Drop it! Our freedom of speech is freedom of death. We got to fight the powers that be. Fight the power! Fight the power!
I'm Zoe Williams, the voice of reason. If your relationship is in trouble, I'm the dude to call. Has your soulmate become your cellmate? Does black love still exist? What are your bedroom turnoffs? Fantasies and fetishes. Financial infidelity. I'm dating a fat person. Are they worth the wait? Trust me, this gonna be crazy.
How about the heavy stuff?
The child wasn't his, and he still had to pay child support.
It's a very heated topic.
How was that right?
Mama's baby, daddy's maybe.
I just have so many questions I want to ask you.
I just like to kiss it. Is there something wrong with that?
Damn.
He told me he had a vasectomy. I'm pregnant.
Betrayal has been committed.
Hit you with the bad pipes routine.
How does he maintain his humposity?
He likes it when it pinches my neck.
Why can't you open up, brother?
I'm a karate man. Karate man rules on the inside. They don't show their weaknesses.
Yeah.
How do you write women so well?
Zoe Williams,
Reason and accountability.
the voice of reason.
If you want to be loved, you need to be yourself. This piece of advice, offered in slightly altered forms depending on whether one is seeking romantic love, success, or friendship, feels like a big fat lie. We learn from a young age that to be oneself, to be messy, ugly, needy, and stupid, isn't lovable. Crying because we feel hurt or launching into a temper tantrum is met with the disapproval of our caretakers. Here we may hear the echoes of Jordan Peterson's parental advice. An angry child should sit by himself until he calms down. Then he should be allowed to return to normal life. That means the child wins, instead of his anger. The rule is, come be with us as soon as you can behave properly. The child learns to be accepted for not who they are, but how they are. Their worth is dictated by their behavior. Later on, we note that being too vulnerable or weird drives away romantic prospects. What we are left with is an ultimatum. You can either be yourself or you can be loved. And so our relationships become cyclical. We compromise in the beginning, prioritizing attachment over authenticity. We tuck away ourselves, repressing the emotions that feel closest to us. But this only lasts for a short while. Sooner or later, ugly truths violently crash through our frozen surface of conformity. We risk a divorce, a breakup, the severing of ties with our family members. And then, after a while, we miss the basic need of belonging, and once again repress who we are to be with others. Is this cycle an inevitability? Can we resolve the tension between authenticity and attachment?
I love it. Let's talk about it. Listen, what you're not going to do is come in here and villainize one attachment style. Okay? There's 3 maladaptive attachment styles, and each one of those have an attachment core wound. Whips, we're all works in progress, and even the so-called golden child of attachment theory, which is secure attachment. A securely attached person can be pulled dismissive, can be pulled fearful, can be pulled anxious, preoccupied. They're not ironclad, okay? So don't turn this into a gang turf war. It's anxious on minds. It's anxious AP on mine. Nah, son. It's DA over here. It's dismissive avoidant all day, every day. Boy, who you talking to? This FA land. Fearful avoidant land. Gang, gang. That's not how it works, people. Okay? Those 3 attachment styles have their own core wound. Now, okay, those core wounds are to be addressed by the individual. Tonight, we are talking about the anxious preoccupied core wound, which is a worthiness wound. Now, we already know there's a lot of information out there that posits that DAs, FAs look like narcissists because of that fear of feeling, right? We know that just because an AP, an anxious preoccupied, can feel, it doesn't necessarily mean that they can't be or can't exhibit narcissistic tendencies. We know that, okay? Everybody's got a core wound. Trust me when I tell you. So stop gangbanging your attachment theory set, okay? Goodness gracious. I done told people what their attachment styles are. Now they setting up little gangs. We not doing that tonight. All right, let's get my next caller in here. We got Lulu from Charlotte, North Carolina. What are your thoughts?
Hi, Bella. It's Lulu, and I really appreciate the conversation that you're having. I'm actually currently in therapy, and my therapist helped me identify that I have some anxious, preoccupied traits, especially in my romantic relationships. Things like people-pleasing, some insecurities, some neediness, and probably the two biggest things I've found about those is how having those traits leads to inverse consequences where unintentionally anxious, preoccupied will have these tendencies so that their partner doesn't leave them and don't realize that those exact traits are what's pushing them away.
Say more about that. Go deeper into that idea.
So I think the time I realized it was my current partner sent me an attachment test, one of those quizzes, and I didn't share my results. And that's when I realized I was scared to share that I was anxious, preoccupied for fear that he would think that I'm not prepared for a relationship. And when I looked further into it, I realized that was me withholding information and how that can really snowball where you are afraid of your partner's reactions, you're afraid of what they might think of you, so you withhold information.
Have you ever lied? Let's just get right to it. Have you ever lied because of fear that you may lose your partner? Because remember, anxious preoccupieds are afraid of rejection. They're afraid that abandonment. So have you ever lied?
Right. Yes.
Absolutely you have. But that doesn't make you a bad person. Please understand that. Because sometimes we'll internalize that and be like, man, I ain't worth a damn. You know? Because, again, anxious, preoccupied people feel. So there is a sense of guilt. There's a sense of remorse. There's a sense of, damn, I don't want to have to do this. Let me just handle this and get it out the way so maybe they'll never find out. You know, that kind of impetus, right?
Right.
Go ahead. Finish your thought.
Yeah, so I think another thing that I realized is that those anxious, preoccupied traits also promote codependent tendencies where
for sure
I won't share what I want to do. What do you want to do? I'll do whatever you want to do. I'm okay doing whatever you want to do. And I start to lose myself for fear of conflict. And I just want to share one of the things that has been really beneficial to me is in communicating with my partner, where if I do need extra reassurance, I trust that my partner will tell me. If they're quiet, normally pre-therapy me would be worried, oh, it's because of me, even if I didn't do anything incorrectly. But with my current partner, I'm able to trust them to where I know they will say something to me if I do something wrong or if I do something to hurt them. They're not going to ghost me if I do something incorrect. They're going to tell me.
You get to be a human.
Right.
Yeah.
So I also, in therapy, my therapist shared a list that gave me codependent traits and interdependent traits. And I shared it with my partner and asked if my partner would help me stay accountable to those. So if sometimes I start veering one way, we talk about it, and I tell him I'm having a hard time with being alone or whatever it may be. And I'm able to get that reassurance without feeling skeptical of him or feeling extra needy or clingy. And it's obviously a work in progress, but whereas before I was fearful of communicating, I'm learning that the more I communicate, the stronger my relationship is.
I love it. You know, you made my day. I appreciate your transparency. I appreciate you just being so truthful and open. Listen, you are the embodiment of this show. You know why? Because I always say this is a non-judgmental space. And guess what? You elevated the space with your truth. You can call in anytime. You know that?
Thank you.
All right, I'll be looking for you now. We appreciate the call. You brought North Carolina in the building. But let's get deeper. I got to get deeper. According to Ross Rosenberg and many others, Ross Rosenberg is the author of the book, The Human Magnet Syndrome. Right? He says the codependent is attracted to the narcissist. The giver is attracted to the taker. The taker is attracted to the giver. The codependent, self-love deficient, anxious, preoccupied, self-love deficient. When you lack a sense of self-worthiness, you are, by default, an SLD, self-love deficient. Doesn't mean that a codependent can't also be a covert narcissist. Listen, we're laying it all out for you. But please understand, there are certain dispositions that are attracted to other dispositions. The chaser is attracted to the runner. Who's a runner? Dismissive avoidant, fearful avoidant. The anxious preoccupied is saying, gimme, gimme, gimme. Let me help. But it's not give me just because I want it. It's give me because I think by doing for you, I will somehow gain worthiness from you. You will somehow reciprocate. You'll be like, you know what? You're a really good person. Wow, no one has ever told me that. Do you see? Do you see how it's set up? The great Krishnamurti said relationship acts as a mirror. We've been saying for years, over 20 years now, you get who you are. All this I deserve culture and I deserve better, then be better. And you have to be better for self, not for results. Uh-oh. Hold on. You want to change the world? Change yourself. But you can't change yourself trying to change the world. You got to change yourself with yourself in mind. I want to be better because of me. I want to see if I can get to the highest level of me. Not, I want to get to the highest level so I can exert my influence on others. That's not how it works. Relationships between anxious and avoidant attachment styles can be challenging. They mirror each other. Isn't it funny that even the attachment style theory embodies the great Krishnamurti's work on the mirror of relationships? Okay, cool. Relationships between the anxious and avoidant attachment styles can be challenging, but they can also be strong if partners learn to understand each other's actions. Do you understand? These guys can work it out if they can understand each other's language, attachment language. Do you understand? I'm sorry, we got callers. Let me get these callers in here. This is big right now. We cooking right now at an entirely different level. If you want to join the conversation, all you got to do is call me at 1-800-920-1580. We got Hustle from Miami, Florida. Hustle! Get in here!
Yeah, what's up, brother?
Yes, sir. Talk to me, brother. What is on your mind?
Okay, so first, let me get at no names. But you know what the thing about avoidance is? They like to give you breadcrumbs, but then they get mad if you just ask for some jelly.
If you ask for some meat on the side, wait a minute. You done gave me a crust of bread. Is that what you done gave me an hors d'oeuvre, and you think I'm supposed to be full off an hors d'oeuvre? Where is the main course? I see what you're saying, brother. I hear you. Go ahead, finish, man.
But let me add a little bit of depth to this AP thing, because, you know, everything's on a spectrum. I don't think I'm on the deepest end of it, but
yes,
it's not the validation that from everybody. That's the thing you have to understand. It's validation from particular people who remind you of who kind of didn't give you it from before. You understand? Because it's almost.
Oh, wait. I'm sorry to interrupt, but you saying something really big. Or it's the validation you seek from the person that made it past the gauntlet. Because you don't typically just let anybody come in. There's a certain kind of person that you might want to come in. And when that special person gets past all of the TSA of your spirit, and then they turn out to not be what you thought, then it's really problematic.
Well, the thing is, you might even know what they were. It's not even about not getting what you don't. It's you understand the safety behind it. So, as an example, I go to the club and I don't want the pretty girl that's winking at me. You know what I'm saying? I want the one that nobody can get, including me.
Okay, Leo. Come on, Leo.
It's just what it is. But once you kind of own that, then you could kind of tune it to work. But that's the thing. At least APs, you know what I mean? We wanted to look at the book because we fix ourselves too. We ain't just fixing everybody else. So, just it is what it is, brother. You know what I'm saying?
I hear you, brother. Come on. You been waiting to get in here, so you're in here. You might as well give us something, man. Food for thought to think on it, man.
All right. Well, I'll say this then. Understand that APs only exist when there's a fuel to the fire.
What do you mean? I thought APs, anxious preoccupied, came from a parent who didn't make them feel worthy, who missed an opportunity to make them feel worthy. They had a worthiness wound, abandonment issues, right? A parent that wasn't there, a parent that didn't pour in, a parent that didn't uplift. I thought that was it.
Well, here's the problem. You won't miss or feel like you have something that wasn't presented to you. So a lot of times that's why we go into this narcissist thing, because narcissists like to love bomb. They like to give at the beginning.
Stay right there. Don't leave. Don't leave. Hey, Hustle from Miami up in here, man. I want to play Miami Vice. When we come forward, more from South Florida.
Reasons. The reasons that we're here, the reasons that we fear, our feelings won't disappear. You're listening to the Voice of Reason with Zoe Williams on KBLA Talk 1580.
All I need is one mic.
With a KBLA Talk 1580 editorial, I'm Tavis Smiley. Just a few short months ago, California Attorney General Rob Bonta filed 11 felony charges against Diana Turan, an assistant district attorney for Los Angeles County. The charges allege that Turan unlawfully accessed confidential computer data, including police officer files in 2018, and continued to use them after joining the DA's office in 2021. Ironically, Turan, who is now on administrative leave, oversaw the Public Integrity Division, responsible for handling high-profile cases of police misconduct and public corruption, including the charges brought against LA City Council member Kern Price last June. To be sure, the case against Price has raised plenty of eyebrows. Indeed, one noted legal scholar has said publicly, and I quote, "Everything about this prosecution reeks," close quote. Could AG Bonta, with aspirations to become California governor, be punishing Turan for her role in DA George Gascon's police accountability agenda to curry favor with police unions? Could DA Gascon be using the case against Price to showcase his tough stance on crime and political corruption as he vies to retain his seat as DA? Honestly, I have no idea. But here's what I know for sure. Curran Price has been elected and re-elected by thousands of voters, mostly black and brown, who stand to be further disenfranchised if this matter is not handled correctly, which is why it matters to us at KBLA Talk 1580. When the prosecutor is being prosecuted, it seems to me that at the very least, there ought to be a thorough, top-to-bottom, independent review of all cases under Diana Taran's purview to ensure that none of these cases have been tainted. Justice and fundamental fairness demand no less, if public trust truly matters. And I hope it does. For KBLA Talk 1580, I'm Tavis Smiley. We welcome your feedback.
If you say you care about the community, you have to also care about the climate. We're KBLA Talk 1580, and we've got your black.
Hey guys, do you want male performance in the bedroom and do you want it now? Get it in 47 seconds or less. For the first time, you can have instant male enhancement. Introducing Nox 47, the topical male enhancement that works in 47 seconds or less. Satisfaction guaranteed. Finally, after years of scientific research, our proprietary formula will allow you to perform in the bedroom like never before. Just imagine that little blue pill on steroids. No reason to settle and wait when you can get instant performance now. Forget about pills and potions that make you wait hours or up to 30 days to work. That's yesterday's news. Nox 47 is brand new. The hottest thing for men. And you don't need a prescription. Call now and get your free supply for a limited time.
To find out how to get Nox 47 for free, call now. 800-617-1621. That's 800-617-1621. Free bottles for limited time. Call 800-617-1621. That's 800-617-1621.
You know you want some more. It's the voice of reason with Zoe Williams on KBLA Talk 1580.
Yo, I ain't seen you in a minute, but I got something to tell you. Listen. See, the thing about you that caught my eye is the same thing that makes me change my mind. Kinda hard to explain, but girl, I'll try. You need to sit down, this may take a while. See, this girl, she sorta looks just like you. She even smiles just the way you do. So innocent she seemed, but I was smooth. I'm reminded when I look at you, but you remind me of a girl that I once knew. See your face whenever I look at you. Won't believe it, baby.
Hey guys, Heidi Preeb here. Today I wanted to clarify something that I think comes up as a question quite a bit in the minds of people who are interacting with people who have an anxious attachment strategy. This is kind of a conversational or particularly a conflict pitfall that I see specifically anxious and avoidant types falling into very, very often. So when we look at both sides of the attachment spectrum, we have anxious on one side, which is more emotionally organized. So their worldview, their understanding of how the world works is organized more through the lens of their personal feelings than it is through the lens of temporal order. So they're more inclined, especially when their attachment system is triggered and they're dealing with an interpersonal situation, to rely on how they feel to tell them the truth about what's happening, versus those on the avoidant side of the spectrum rely more on temporal order than on their inner emotional world. So they're more likely to try to understand a situation through the lens of what concretely caused what to happen, rather than which emotions are impacting my experience of this situation and how can I communicate and work through those.
This is why a lot of people be like, those avoidant types looking hella narcissistic. Because the one thing that you can see in a person that has narcissistic personality disorder or has heavy narcissistic traits, lack of empathy. Lack of empathy. But at the same time, I still believe that a lot of Anxious, preoccupied people can also be narcissistic, even with the ability to organize how they perceive others relationally through their emotions. Sure. But one telltale sign of narcissistic folk: lack of emotions, lack of empathy. Heavy stuff. No emotion, no grace, as Kenny Bless just said. Go ahead, finish that.
What concretely caused what to happen, rather than which emotions are impacting my experience of this situation, and how can I communicate and work through those as a means of resolving the situation. So this trap that often anxious and avoidant types in particular will fall into when they get into conflict is that the anxiously attached person will be trying desperately to communicate how they feel because they believe that the way they feel is communicating an important truth about the situation at hand. And the avoidant person will get really stuck on the temporal order of things if there are incongruencies in what the anxiously attached person is saying. And usually there are, because an attachment strategy that is inherent to the anxious style is to exaggerate their emotion and their inner experience if they feel as though it's not being seen and understood by the other person. So when you have an anxious attachment strategy and you have a feeling in your body and you do not know how to get rid of it on your own, the number one thing that every single cell in your body is telling you to do is to get someone else to understand the way that you are feeling so they can help you to stop feeling that way, or through some sort of interaction, even a negative one, even something like a fight or an argument, which at least gives you focused, intense personal attention. It will help your arousal come down if you can only get the other person to see the pain that you are currently in. So the important thing to keep in mind here is that in the mind of the anxiously attached person, particularly when their attachment system is very activated and online, the most important thing to them is communicating their emotion. The facts of the matter are far less important and in their minds don't really matter as much. So let's say the anxiously attached person had a difficult day at work and they felt insulted by something that someone said. And let's say they come home and tell their partner and they don't really get the reaction they were expecting out of their partner. They thought that they would receive a lot of focused empathy and attention, but instead maybe their partner went, that wouldn't bother me that much. I think you should just brush it off. Now, the important thing here is that the anxiously attached person could be in a triggered state where they are feeling a lot of intensity in their body. And they believe that if you only understood how they were feeling, then you would give them the co-regulation they need. So they might distort the facts of what happened in order to accurately convey the emotion that is present in them. So they might think, okay, let me think of what would have happened that would have made you feel this way. And they might present the situation as though that were what actually happened, but not because they are consciously trying to mislead you for any logical reason. They're not trying to get you to have false thoughts. Their motivation is to try to get you to understand the feeling that they're having.
He's on fire tonight. It's the Voice of Reason with Zoe Williams, exclusively on KBLA Talk 1580.
I'm Amber Payton. Here's the latest on the Black Information Network. Former President Obama is planning to endorse Vice President Harris soon. According to NBC News, the pair have had multiple discussions since she announced her candidacy on Sunday, with Obama fully supporting Harris privately. Obama remains one of the few prominent Democrats who has yet to endorse Harris. NBC News reported that Michelle Obama also supports Harris's candidacy. The U.S. House of Representatives is setting up a bipartisan task force to investigate the Trump assassination attempt. House Speaker Mike Johnson and Democratic leader Hakeem Jeffries say the task force will be made up of 7 Republicans and 6 Democrats who will have subpoena authority. In a joint statement, Johnson and Jeffries, who is black, said the task force will move quickly to find the facts, ensure accountability, and make certain such failures never happen again. The resolution to establish the task force was approved unanimously Wednesday by all House members. That's the latest. I'm Amber Payton on your home for 24/7 News, the Black Information Network.
Hey DQ fans, mark your calendars. Thursday, July 25th is Miracle Treat Day 2024. $1 or more of every Blizzard treat sold at participating DQ locations benefits your local children's hospital. Remember, July 25th, only at DQ. Happy, tastes good.
Yeah, y'all, come on. Here come the club.
At KBLA Talk 1580, we fight the power every day.
Yeah, Gotta give us what we want. Gotta give us what we need. Hey!
I listen to KBLA and I love the commercials. I know what the commercials mean. I also, if I'm looking and trying to figure something out, I need something to talk to me that might hit me. And it happens on TV because, you know, every time they show a sporting event, they got the pharmaceutical companies back to back to back telling people how to fix the sickness on the same stuff that they sell them. So we get it.
Yep, we get it too, Chuck D. And that's why at KBLA Talk 1580, we don't black down.
Drop it! Our freedom of speech is freedom of death. We got to fight the powers that be. Fight the power! Fight the power!
To help combat climate change, LADWP is helping neighborhoods have better access to electric vehicles by awarding nearly $130 million in EV rebates to customers just like you. From big savings on used EVs to building new charging plazas, LADWP is charging ahead to help all Angelenos experience the benefits of EVs. Get rebates of up to $4,000 for a used EV and $1,750 for a charger. Learn more at ladwp.com/EV. That's ladwp.com/EV.
We asked seniors how to prevent Medicare scams.
My best advice, if you get a phone call, do not talk to the person. These people are well trained. Don't talk to them.
They don't know me. They're just trying to scam me.
Don't be fooled. Hang up. Just hang up.
Never give out your Medicare number.
They're going to get your number to put in a false claim.
If I get a call from someone, I don't pick up the phone, and should I pick up the phone and they ask for information, then I hang up.
How do you detect Medicare fraud?
Just like I check my credit card statements, I check my Medicare statements monthly.
Scammers can get a hold of your number, order medical devices through your account, and you're not even going to know about it if you don't look at your statement.
Check your statement every month. If you get your statement and you see something that you know you did not have done, you report it.
Call your senior Medicare Patrol.
To report Medicare fraud, call the Senior Medicare Patrol at 855-613-7080.
Hey, LA residents, it's planting season and the perfect time to get shade trees growing around your home. LADWP and City Plants are giving every resident up to 7 free trees. That's right, 7 free trees delivered right to your door. Trees are great for the environment, help improve air quality, and can help you save on your bill when you use less air conditioning to stay cool indoors. Learn more at ladwp.com/free trees. That's ladwp.com/free trees.
JP Morgan Chase is building on the investments in California and around the country to help close the racial wealth gap and build a more equitable future. As part of JP Morgan Chase commitment, they are taking action to help improve financial wealth and access to banking in the Black community, helping more people open low-cost checking and savings accounts, hosting community seminars with supporting Black-led institutions by building awareness about financial investments, hiring community managers, and opening community center branches like Crenshaw, Inglewood, and downtown LA. Visit today, jpmorganchase.com/racial equity. Again, jpmorganchase.com/racial equity. Get the tools to help reach your financial goals. Visit today, jpmorganchase.com/racial equity. Again, jpmorganchase.com/racial equity.
Hey there, Los Angeles. This is James Lucky Jr., publisher and editor of Los Angeles News Observer. Are you hungry for news that matters to you in the African-American communities of Los Angeles? Well, buckle up, because we got the scoop you've been craving. Stay in the know and never miss a beat with our free weekly publications conveniently available near you. Or hop on the digital wave and become an exclusive subscriber at OGNSC.com. Don't forget to join the party on Instagram and Twitter at OGNSCINC for behind-the-scenes access and sizzling updates. No more FOMO. Let's stay informed, connected, and empowered together.
This is KBLA Talk 1580. Talk radio. That's music to your ears. We're unapologetically progressive. KBLA Talk 1580. You're listening to the voice of reason with Zoe Williams. Only on KBLA Talk 1580.
The perpetual hesitation of the neurotic to launch out into life is readily explained by his desire to stand aside so as not to get involved in the dangerous struggle for existence. But anyone who refuses to experience life must stifle his desire to live. In other words, he must commit partial suicide. In the first video of this two-part series, we discussed what Carl Jung believed the existence of anxiety disorders and other forms of neurotic suffering can teach us about our way of life. The cause of the neurosis, according to Jung, is always to be found in the present, in a conflicted way of life in the here and now. The outbreak of the neurosis functions in a prospective manner. It signals to us that the life path we are on is inconducive to our well-being. Or as Jung wrote, "The outbreak of the neurosis is not just a matter of chance. As a rule, it is most critical. It is usually the moment when a new psychological adjustment, a new adaptation, is demanded." The road to recovery, according to Jung, does not require reliving childhood memories or working through old family conflicts. For unless we were the victim of some sort of trauma of which we have yet to process, our childhood memories will not free us from our present suffering. What is needed is a new attitude, one which entails a wholehearted dedication to life, and which makes the powerful urge to develop our own personality an imperative duty. We must step off the sidelines of life and establish a uniform direction to our existence in which we, and not others, are the final authority. All the energy that was tied up in family bonds must be withdrawn from the narrower circle into the larger one, because the psychic health of the adult individual, who in childhood was a mere particle revolving in a rotary system, demands that he should himself become the center of a new system. The first step in recovery is simple in theory but difficult in practice. We need a clearer picture of who we are and where we are heading. We can no longer afford to falsify reality. Instead of fleeing from our difficulties, denying our flaws, or blaming our lot in life on forces independent of our control, self-acceptance must become the rule. For as Jung wrote, "A neurosis is not a disgrace. It is not a fatal disease, but it does grow worse to the degree that one is determined to ignore it."
Ooh.
While many people fear what they may see if they take an honest look at themselves, in actual fact, the practice of self-acceptance is liberating. No longer do we need to expend so much energy denying our flaws and hiding them from ourselves and others.
Woo! That was straight fire. The voice of reason is on fire tonight. We got a great topic tonight. We're talking about, anxious, preoccupied attachment style and how, there's this almost neurotic kind of desire, for, I've healed, but there's this desire for validation. I've healed a great deal of it, but I still got a lot more to heal. If you have an anxious, preoccupied attachment style, according to the system that John Bowlby and Mary Ainsworth created, of course, you're going to see some characteristics like negative self-worth, constant need for closeness and intimacy, worrying that your partner will leave you, abandonment issues, being overly dependent in your relationship, constant fear of rejection and abandonment, constant need to please and gain people's approval. And listen, this has nothing to do with gender. A lot of times she clingy. He's clingy too. Okay? They'll try to make it like clingy is a feminine thing. No, it's a masculine thing too, right? Just understand these are, some of the characteristics of the anxious, preoccupied attachment style, right? Difficulty trusting your partner, requiring frequent reassurance that you're cared for, hypersensitivity to your partner's actions and moods. This is a real situation in relationships, and if you're dealing with it, I suggest you call Dr. Joshana Johnson, you call Dr. Sunshine, Shalonda Crawford, you call, I know so many, Dr. Alan Berger. I know a lot of folk that you can call. Go get some therapy. It'll work. I got therapy. It worked for me. And therapy, I believe, is a lifelong practice. Let me get my guy in here, Hustle from Miami, to get his final thoughts.
Hold on, you got some music playing.
I know. Miami Vice, let's go. Classic Miami Vice, Hustle from Miami, Florida. Get in here, man. What are your final thoughts, bro?
Mm-hmm. I ain't got no neon suits for that one, man. So look, I like to give advice solutions. I'm solution based. So I would say this, as the late great Dr. Mark Goulston used to say, just listen. A lot of these attachment styles will show themselves if you allow the person to show you. Even when it comes to narcissism, if you allow them to feel safe, they will tell you about themselves. You know what I mean? But a lot of times we just want to say our side and not give them a chance to speak. So for everything, every conclusion you come up to, every answer you have, ask 2 questions of them and just listen.
Man, I love it, brother. Guess what you just did?
Dade County.
You already know, Dade County in the building. If you want to bring your city in the building, call me now, 1-800-920-1580. Let's get it. Nazarene X, Atlanta, Georgia. Get in here. What are your thoughts on tonight's topic, man? What are you thinking?
Man, I've been thinking it's just to play with the words. I'm just kind of a nerd in that sense. So etymology, vibration, so forth. I keep feeling this truth that at the heart of all of these things, the word disturbance comes to mind. Like all of these inner disturbances is just confusion, permeating throughout our lives in various ways, even like in terms of physical health. Like, we'll have stress, but then the body's confused. Like, why? This ain't how it's supposed to be. So then it's going to start showing up in a different way. Right. But with this tone of validation, with the emphasis on externally, I wanted to share that recently I caught a video clip. Long and short, it was a guy speaking about how he would speak to his daughter, like if she came to him as a child and made a piece of art. And, she'd be like, hey, Daddy, I made this. What do you think? And instead of being like, oh, yeah, you did a good job, this and the third, he was like, the way that he responded at that time was by asking her, okay, well, how do you feel about it? And what he was pointing out in this whole realm of people pleasing, which I believe can lead to an entrainment to seek external validation all the time. He was like, by even at that age, instead of, teaching his daughter in a backwards kind of way to always rely on someone else's approval on the outside to feel like she did a good job or feel like her work was good enough in XYZ, by earlier on calling her to seek first inside how she feels about what she did, it will more so better equip her, in that train of thought to rely on her internal authority when she has a question, my mind along those lines about, well, how does this action look to someone else on the outside, whether it be someone I care about like my dad or whomever, I imagine that would translate into relationships. So playing with these words, I think just the science of it all to an extent is the foundation. I believe the psychology and the brain piece is that symptom. But what I saw just looking up the words and all of that, an impulse is like a non-reflective action. So it's in a sense, essence, it's a mindless act.
It's a reaction. It's not a response. It's a reaction. I'm with you. An impulse. It's just a reaction. I'm reacting almost like instinctively, right?
And that's exactly where I was going to try to just find out the through lines. I looked up instinct, and instinct is more of a prompting, right? But it doesn't imply an external prompting. So I believe that balance of how we can lean upon intuition, it's an inner knowing. So it's like when we maintain that seat that you've been echoing throughout your works, tonight's shows and everything, that inner relationship with self, with our higher power, all of that, that's where our power truly lies. So I just call everyone to try to honor that first and foremost, regardless, lead with that. And I believe even there we can conquer various levels of addiction.
Love that, bro.
That's what I got on that.
Love that, man. Guess what you just did?
Love and thanks, ATL.
You already know, ATL, we love it. Hey, when I come forward, guess what? I'm going back to Houston. Let's get it.
Is it good to you? More Voice of Reason with Zoe Williams when we come forward.
The California Crusader newspaper would like to thank all of our subscribers for their support throughout the years, proudly serving the South Los Angeles and South Bay areas for more than 40 years. The California Crusader is a multicultural, black-owned, adjudicated newspaper that focuses on providing newsworthy information to the people in our community. We're constantly looking for ways to assist businesses in our community to connect with our subscribers. We provide low-cost, effective ways to promote your business with our reasonable and affordable advertising rates. You can participate by suggesting, sharing, and submitting your stories on the California Crusader newspaper Community Share Facebook group page, or visit our website at cal-cruise-news.com. That's calcruisenews.com. Then click on the Submit Now button located on the top right corner of the homepage, or text CCN to 42828. Again, text CCN to 42828. The California Crusader newspaper, working together to build a better community for our future. Subscribe today.
Texting enrolls you into recurring automated text messages. Consent not required to purchase. Message and data rates may apply.
Hey, Dan, how you doing? Haven't seen you around the gym for a while.
Yeah, I've really fallen off. Since I turned 40, I just don't get the results I used to get.
Could be lower testosterone.
Lower T?
Yeah, I went through it a while back. Once you hit 40, your body has less free testosterone. I got Nugenix Total T, and it's made a huge difference for me.
I've seen that ad on TV. Is it for real?
Oh, yeah. The key ingredient is something called Tesnor, which helps boost free and total testosterone levels to help you trim up and stay lean.
And it's made a difference for you?
Man, I feel like I'm in my 20s again, at work, in the gym, and in the bedroom.
Are they still giving out complimentary bottles for people to try it for themselves?
Yeah, you just need to send them a text.
Text LION to 42424 right now for your complimentary bottle of Nugenix Total T, the #1 selling testosterone booster at GNC. Plus, text now and we'll include a bottle of Nugenix Thermo, our most powerful fat incinerator ever, to help you get back into shape fast, absolutely free. Text LION to 42424. That's LION to 42424.
Linking social justice and climate justice all year long.
We're unapologetically progressive.
KBLA Talk 1580. KBLA Talk 1580.
We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580 believes in community empowerment. LA's 99 neighborhood councils form the grassroots level of the Los Angeles city government. The system was created to connect LA's diverse communities to City Hall. While neighborhood council board members are volunteers, they are also public officials elected to office by the members of their community. Neighborhood councils advocate on issues like homelessness, housing, land use, emergency preparedness, public safety, parks, transportation, and sustainability. They also provide local expertise on the delivery of city services to their various communities. Neighborhood councils are open to participation by anyone who is a part of the fabric of daily life in said community. This includes those who live, work, or own property or a business. If you are interested in stepping up to join your local neighborhood council, visit www.empowerla.org. That's empowerla.org. It's time to think globally, but act locally. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
You know you want some more. It's the Voice of Reason with Zoe Williams on KBLA Talk 1580.
Chaka Khan, Chaka Khan, Chaka Khan, Chaka Khan, Chaka Khan, let me rock it, Chaka Khan. Let me rock it, that's all I wanna do. Chaka Khan, let me rock it, Chaka Khan. Let me rock it, got a feel for you. Chaka Khan, what you tell me what you wanna do? Do you feel for me the way I feel for you? Chaka Khan, let me tell you what I wanna do. I wanna love you, wanna hug you, wanna squeeze you too. And let me take it in my arms, let me feel you with my charm, Chaka. Cause you know that I'm the one that keep you warm, Chaka. I make it more than just a physical dream. I wanna rock you, Chaka, baby, cause you make me wanna scream. Let me rock it, rock it.
I'm telling you, Kendrick, don't diss Melly Mel. That's Melly Mel right there, Kendrick. I'm the one to keep you warm, Shaka. Come on. You can't diss Melly Mel. Melly Mel is a legend. Kendrick said, I'd diss Melly Mel if I had to. All Melly Mel got to do is drop the needle right there. Kendrick be like, that's for Shaka. This is a battle. Yo, my playlist is my co-host, man. I love playing great music. I don't think that record. See, I was like, let me put together a playlist that was produced by Terry and Jimmy Jam. But I don't think that was produced by Terry Lewis and Jimmy Jam. If that's produced by Terry Lewis and Jimmy Jam, they're the greatest producers in the history of music, period. Let me get Attila back in here for her final thought. Attila.
Child. I've been fighting for my life in that chat. No, I'm just kidding.
I see. The chat room is on fire tonight. They've been going crazy. Stuff that I can't repeat on the air. But go ahead, Attila.
We've been having a good old time. But let me just say, I think it was you and Hustle Habit talking about the person not being who you thought they were, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah, because that's who you imagined. That's who you made the person up to be. Ooh. They never were that. Ooh. And I'm saying that as somebody who's a fearful avoidant. When you're in that idealization phase at the beginning, it really doesn't matter who that person is. You could you could cut them out like a little cutout in a magazine and put anybody in that space and it will work. Because it's your illusions that are adding to the relationship, that are adding momentum to the engagement. Mm-hmm. And they just sitting there looking at you like, I don't know what's going on. Of course, they're not going to tell you because it feels good to be wanted, right? It feels really good to be adored. I think anybody would want that, secure or otherwise. Mm-hmm. I think where we get into trouble is that we're not really doing vibe checks with each other. We're just assuming that you feel how I feel, treat people how you want to be treated type stuff. And it's like, you got to check in. Right. And in the process of checking in with them, you should also be checking in with yourself. And that's something that fearful avoidance and anxious preoccupieds do not do. You're avoiding checking in with yourself because if you have to check in with yourself, there's a possibility that, now I got to check in with them and they might reject me. So let me just avoid it. Mm-hmm. So an anxious preoccupied is going to stay in limerence, whereas the fearful avoidant or dismissive avoidant will fall out of it or just never enter it in the first place. This is about limerence.
Ooh, you saying, Lord have mercy, you saying the anxious preoccupied is in love with limerence. The feeling of
They're in love with love.
Love with love. In love with love.
I just love loving you. And it's like, man,
because we ain't never got it. Is that what it is?
You could put Tony Braxton there. You could put, I don't know, Tyra Banks, whoever. It's going to be the same thing regardless. Your whole point is to get that supply, to get that validation. Right. And until you realize that about yourself, you're going to keep doing it. Like, you can replace that with whomever, and it will still be the same thing. And you're going to have the same story about how this person didn't want you, or it was an unrequited love situation, but the issue is you. You have an unrequited love situation with yourself. I know we got to go. Okay, bye.
No, I love it. You cooking. Hey, listen, guess what you did for the second time?
I brought Houston in the building.
Houston, Texas is in the building. We've been all over the country once again, but let's dig a little deeper in these final minutes. Most of us are in bondage to our childhood, in bondage to what we modeled in childhood, in bondage to expectations and beliefs that were set upon us when we were still forming the idea of who we are. To be an adult is to shed everything that was psychologically put upon you and choose your own path. Create your own path, right? Be a pathfinder, right? In your spirit. Many of us travel the path that was laid before us. We're not really free people. And when I say free people, I mean free to be yourself. How can you ask a government for freedom when you're still not free to be you amongst your own people in your relationships? Maybe when we discover that level of freedom, internal freedom, psychological freedom, freedom from the past, as Krishnamurti would say, freedom from the known, we might be able to see ourselves and our partners in an entirely different light. Krishnamurti said, freedom is not an abstract concept. It is not a thing to be given, not a reward. It comes into being only when the mind understands the totality of bondage. Do you see that? Right? The totality of bondage. To be free of all authority, of your own, and all of that, is to die to everything of yesterday. So the mind is always fresh, always young, innocent, full of vigor and passion. It is only in that state that one learns and observes. And for this, a great deal of awareness is required. Actual awareness of what is going on inside of you without correcting it or telling it what it should or should not be. Because the moment you correct, you have established another authority, a censor. Do you understand? Forgive what you modeled. Release what you've modeled. And see from that point the depth of just how deeply you can really love. Listen, I started the conversation. It's up to you to finish it. It is not a requirement for you to agree with it either. Let's continue talking about it. I'm the voice of reason. I'll be back next week with a whole slate of fire topics. Love y'all. See y'all.
KBLA 1580 Santa Monica.
I'm Mike Moore.